objective and putting aggressive gameplay on the map. So let's go ahead and start this one off, guys. It is Rigged Strongholds.
Yeah, so this one's gonna, one thing
TBD, very, very popular.
Team TBD, yep. um, one thing that's interesting is all these Stronghold maps play quite differently, but if I had to say how this one plays, it's got to be a mix in between Plaza and Empire. Because you still have those chaotic moments where you're single-handedly sometimes charging towards Yard or trying to force over to different strongholds. But at the same time, you need to have those structured pushes across the map, like Plaza. And just triple kill with that railgun from Baby J. Going to convert this basement stronghold and start to put some points up on the board as his team has total control.
Very nice plays coming out from Baby J. He started off really strong in that CTF Truth as well, getting that double kill. So seems like he really likes to string over those multi-kills, and that's one of the things that I've always, really liked when I was playing Halo professionally, was to get on that nice spree to start the game, especially to start the series, because that really carries over your confidence for the rest of the series as well. Nemesis, though, doing a great job shutting that down with a scatter shot.
Yeah, one thing it does is it instills confidence in your teammates and their decision-making. They go from this mentality where it's, all right, we get to play our just normal strategy. We're doing exactly what we want to do, playing in my comfort zone. Whereas there's other times where if your team starts off slow, you get down, 30 or 50 points at the beginning of the game, you start to think, all right, I need to change something up. I need to start to do something different. I need to go on some sort of 6-3. I need to start carrying this team. And that's not the mentality you want to have. You want to be in this calm mentality, just saying, all right, I'm just going to play our normal game that we played every single time. I realize that if I don't chase down this kill or if I don't try to force something, one of my teammates can create that opportunity. One of my teammates will back me up if I charge this position.
Nemesis going for the old fakearoo play, whipping out the scatter shot, acting like he has ammo, and then ended up losing the fight to Commonly eventually. Really nice shots by Commonly again. This guy is winning battles that he should not be winning. Now waiting for the camo, which again, Dave, in the previous series, he did so well against Splice. So let's see if he's able to secure this one, as Randa does have the railgun, adding some serious pressure on these guys over towards the bunker spawns. Let's see if Commonly's aware of that camo if he wants it, or if he's going to leave that one for a teammate. Looks like he is aware. That one's still just sitting there. Gets burned right around that 38 mark, but no, he does not. Yes, he does.
Yeah, gets that burn, but that was it just goes to show where his head was at. He had a situation where he had a choice of he could try to finish off that kill in basement, but as soon as he started taking damage from another player, he just realized, all right, I need to be smart about this. Worst case, I need to get this burn on the camo, and that's exactly what Commonly did.
Yeah, we're going to see what Nemesis is going to be able to do. He ends up dropping to the railgun again. Baby J just put in serious work. Multi-kills again for Hunter Schlein over here. He's going to find the scatter shot too. So this has been all Baby J to start this one off. And he's probably a little bit angry from that previous series. You could tell just the way that he's shooting, the way that he's moving. He wants to get back and face off against Splice again.
Yeah, wants to play against Splice and has something to prove too. I mean, a lot of these names out there, someone like Commonly, this is just another walk in the park for him. He's been on the main stage. He's won an X Games gold medal. He doesn't have much to prove to the community. Someone like Baby J, he's still working his way onto different squads. He wants to make sure that if there is an opening on another team, or if a certain roster doesn't work out, that he wants to be one of those top agents on that list.
He's still a little Baby J, He's trying to become Manly J soon, and get on a full-time squad, Dave. You know what it's like.
It's true. Actually, I don't know about you, but I was kind of in a pretty fortunate situation.
Spoiled? Yeah, Dave, you were spoiled,
Halo,
okay?
We get it.
Halo
1 to Halo 2 times, it's like, all right, kind of start off
I wonder
right
what
near
it's like,
top.
the team with the 2 greatest twins of all time for 6 years. Must be so difficult, Dave.
It was rough, man, let me tell you.
Commonly over here securing nests with his boy Prototype as the basement is being captured on the other side by TBD. Looks like they're going to have to trade both of these strongholds here. And also, they're not going to be able to get over towards that yard area quite yet either with multiple teammates. Just one guy capturing that one.
Yeah, only one in there, but it looks like they're still constantly putting pressure over at this VR base. It's funny how this game type started playing out early on. Like when the game first came out, people didn't really care about VR base at all. It's like as soon as you get out of there, you would just worry about nest and basement. Whereas now, you have to fight so hard to get BR base, and it's pretty odd. It's crazy to see how it's evolved because teams just try to squeeze out every little extra point they can. They try to get that extra kill or two so that they can control of Whitehall or keep control of the map and actually spawn, trap, and bunker.
Well, I think that, you know, when you look at BR base and you look at like Yard on Plaza, people really like that because that is the final, you know, cherry on top. Once you get that, you know that you can just continually flood that over and over again, and people are going to be so desperate to retake that one. So I think that's why the teams do value that, but you still see basement and nest as the priority targets here. So you're going to see a lot of the teams posturing over towards there. But this game has been extremely back and forth, and this has been the first time that we've hopped on board with Ryanoob, I believe. So let's see what he's going to be able to do. He's not able to capture that basement. Baby J and Prototype converging for a double team over there, and that's going to be very nice for these guys on the side of Randa because all they have to do is get destroyed out of this nest and rotate.
Yeah, that was a new situation we've seen with the new radar, just because beforehand you could sit in basement and have an idea of when or where someone's going to push down on you. Whereas it seemed like Ryan was pretty surprised to see two members flying in at basement at him. Both him and his teammate were cleaned up, and that basement went on over towards team, what are we calling, Team TBD?
Yeah, Team TBD. I guess that's why it's double T there, so makes sense. Nemesis finding the railgun over here, and you've seen multiple players putting the railgun to use in this game, commonly finding a kill onto Contra. We'll have to switch on over to Contra's point of view eventually. Haven't seen his quite yet either, but Nemesis, he's putting in work over here. I love the way that he's holding important areas with the railgun. A lot of times you see someone get the railgun and they'll just start sprinting around the map. You want to try to control the Whitehall in the important area, and this is that middle area right here, and he's doing a really...
He
was doing a really good job, and now I don't know what
this is. Yeah, this is a struggle we're watching right here.
Okay, it was all for the camo, but I'm sorry, Nemesis, that we had to watch that.
Yeah, that was a little rough to watch. Obviously, he was trying to get that godlike combo, but one thing that's scary about trying to bring railgun down to grab camo during a standoff is, during a standoff, most of these players and teams are going to know when those power-ups are coming.
You got to get kills.
You can get away with that when you get a kill or two, or the game's a little more chaotic and people lose track of that power-up. But when it's a standoff to bring your most powerful weapon down the situation, it's almost yeah, bad idea. You probably want to just sit up high somewhere, wait for opponents to peek out through that basement window, or try to contest that power-up, and you can get a free kill.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you saw in the previous series, again, with that final flag cap for Team Randa, where they got a little bit too excited. They're like, hey, we're just going to toss this one up. It's going to be an easy cap. Well, no, you tossed it up right to the two people that were waiting to return it. You got to get those kills, got to get those slays. That's what you're going to see those top-tier teams doing so well, like the Optic Gamings and the Envies.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you can get outslayed in objective games, but at the same time, whenever you are securing an objective, whether it's a stronghold or a flag, there's almost no way to ever get around not getting slays. You can bait people out into different situations where it's easier to kill, but you're never going to somehow get a flag cap while all four members of the opposing team are alive.
I also believe that there is a little bit of a rivalry here going on. I could be wrong, but I
is
think
this a drama alert within the Halo community?
Drama alert, I think possibly between Destroyed and Prototype. I think former teammates as well. So I think that there's a little bit of bad blood between the two, but could be wrong. Either way, this has been a phenomenal game going back and forth. Advantage definitely over to the guys in red right now in Team Randa, but if they don't secure this basement, it could be ugly, and they have to rotate on over towards that nest area because you see they don't have that quite yet. So BR going to be captured over there. There's the rotation coming in from Baby J. Here's the thing, though. You got to watch spawns if you're Prototype. There it is. He watches the spawns perfectly. Nice job. Heads-up play coming out. Just backing down Nemesis to no shields, securing that nest. That could have been a big misplay by Prototype, but he played it perfectly.
Yeah, incredible awareness overall from Prototype right there. I think a less experienced player would have originally just sat in the basement right off the bat, tried to cap that or double cap the other teammate instead of rotating over towards Nest in the first place. Another player would have just been looking towards Whitehall rather than ever checking that carbine spawn. You know, a lot of times you get shot first, then you'd be aware of it, but Prototype just one step ahead of the game that last 45 seconds.
Very nice job by Prototype and the Randa squad securing this one at the end. Taking a look at the stats and the final score really quickly. Ooh, capture spree coming out from somebody. Look, that one was Baby J. And there it is, 21 and 14. He started off hot, Dave, got the killing spree. He pretty much never let up and just continued to put the belly on these guys. 9 and 17 coming out for Randa, but doesn't really matter when you win the game 100 to 82. It didn't seem like the guys got significantly outslayed. The game was pretty close, so they can hold their heads up going into game number 2.
Like that.
Yeah, but the one thing that they didn't do was they didn't have any type of really good rotations at all. I didn't see anything that was, you know, they weren't fighting out of their spawns at all. They were all just kind of pretty basic in terms of where they were going to try to retake things. So I'm looking for a little bit more aggression coming out from a Ryan Noob team. But let's take a look at the replay of that triple kill coming out from Baby J. Again, Baby J, extremely hot here to start not only CTF Truth, but also in this game as well, getting that railgun and going off.
And look at the difference between Baby J getting the camo with the railgun compared to what we saw with Nemesis during that situation. Like we said, it was during a standoff period, but Baby J had the mentality of he's going to go for those kills first, and look at that, just making quick work of those railgun shots, and that ended up transitioning into a trip cap for a squad.
Yes, so now we move into game number 2. Looks like that is going to be Truth Slayer. This is a best of 7, guys. Keep in mind, Splice awaiting the winner of this one already in the finals here. It was 4-2, I think, in the previous series. They took down Team Randa. Now Team Randa coming back with vengeance, taking game number 1 here. What do you think going into game number 2 after seeing game number 1?
Oh, man. I feel like we saw Baby J have a stellar performance, and they didn't win by a significant margin. You know what I mean? We saw Baby J going +7, having the perfect triple kill off the start of the game, getting those power-ups, and winning by like 18 isn't, I wouldn't consider a significant margin on
But that was the first time out of 6 games that we've seen that Baby J had the best individual performance on his team.
That's true.
Too.
That's very true. So going to this next one thing I was, outside of highlighting from these two teams, I was just going to say is I feel like this game type, out of a lot of them out there, changed the most with the newest settings. Because of beforehand, you had so much more awareness with radar here, just knowing when someone's below you, like knowing that you could rotate out of a base safely without having to check your back. And this game type, I feel like, has changed significantly, where people can actually get more flanks in here. So I think if I had to choose which one of these teams was sneakier, man. A lot of times I think of Ryan Noob as a sneaky player and objective, not so much as Slayer. So we're going to have to see which team does better flanks in here, because I feel like this is one of the game types where you can get more flanked compared to almost any other game types out there.
All right, here we go. We're starting this one off, and let's find where that sneaky player is. Ryan Noob, he's going to make his way down.
What did I call?
Hey, there it is. Nemesis picking up a double kill, though, to start that one with the frags. And he put down some good damage and got good information on where the remaining 2 players were as well. So it took one guy down to no shields, called him out. That was an easy kill bottom center. And then the other guy on the opposite side of the map. So that's going to be a great start here for TBD.
Yeah, great start from them. But we're going to have to see what side of the map they prioritize. They had 3 down for a moment, and it looks like they kind of gave up a lot of their top positioning. I don't see anyone at Pink Tower anymore. Looks like they tried to hold towards Car 3. But if I had to choose between Pink Tower and Car, I think I would take Pink Tower.
Yeah, they do have some nice collapse coming in here, though. They have to be careful that they don't show up on radar, and they need to make sure they don't give up any first kills. But Commonly is going to come in with a flank. Commonly was actually the spawner, so I don't know if that was a flank or not, but he came around from the Car side around the team and now tried to make his way top center, and that just did not work out. So now you're seeing some pink control coming in from Nemesis. Let's see how long he can hold it.
Yeah, Nemesis just taking advantage of that high ground, challenging that fight against Baby J. I mean, that one's kind of a toss-up, especially with players of this caliber. I mean, I was always in a position that if I had the advantage and I'm in Pink Tower, I'm usually backing down from that fight. Whereas if I'm the person that's not in Pink Tower, I'm trying to challenge it, because it's I always view the game as kind of this risk versus reward situation. Yeah, you have to fight your way out, and you got to kind of choose, like, all right, I'm pushing out, and hopefully this person fights me to the death.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that, you know, challenging is such a tricky thing, because a lot of times when you feel like you should have challenged, you get cleaned up by another teammate, and you're like, wow, well, maybe if I did challenge that, I could have paved my way into a more secure area. So you got to kind of get a feel and have more awareness for what's going on in the rest of the map, and so much more than just the one-on-one that you're fighting.
Yeah, I think the general rule of thumb for those out there wondering whether you should or shouldn't challenge, it's, do you have the better position? If you have the better position, you almost don't have the incentive to challenge, because guess what? It's going to be much tougher for someone to flake around, get some sort of weird angle on the inside of Pink 2. Whereas somebody over towards Red Pink Street, there's so many more angles across the map that one of your teammates can help finish off that kill.
So here it is. Camo coming up. Can he get it? Randa able to secure that one, but he is going to get cleaned up by Destroyed and that frag grenade. It's 17-10, not completely out of hand, but the aggression coming out from TBD has to scare these guys on the Randa squad.
Yeah, and look at that, Commonly getting semi-caught off guard from Pink 2, but finishing off that kill on Contra. One thing we've talked about commonly is just staying alive all the time, doing so much damage.
He was going for Destroyed right there. I mean, that
he was forced to challenge in that situation.
Exactly.
He already did such a good job getting towards Pink 3, getting that kill on Pink 2, and did so much damage. I didn't get to see if Destroyed was actually picked off in that situation, but if he wasn't, I mean, I'm sure his teammates took advantage of some other position on the map because Commonly did such a good job there.
Another big challenge, especially on Truth, and it goes back to the midship days of Halo 2 when you would fight the window-to-window battle, is Commonly had to challenge that because he needed to win the scope versus descope battle. He was P3, the other guy was Car 3. That is a distance that you want to be zoomed in.
Yep.
And he was able to take Destroyed out of zoom by landing an unscoped shot, and then immediately zoomed in and continued to peg him, and then Destroyed finally recovered and landed that fast zoom-in headshot at the very end there. So if Commonly was able to continue to maybe continuously land body shots there, or if Destroyed missed even one shot, you would have saw a pretty nasty play. But either way, these guys on TBD have continued to be able to build on this lead here. 11 kills and counting with the camo coming up in 30 seconds. They're in a really great position, and it seems like they're very aware of the spawns.
Yeah, I really like this play from Contra, too. He's just completely cutting off this side of Car. I'm not sure if I agree with charging towards there. Clearly, there was a person that was weak over near bubble, so that must have been the call out that forced Contra to push over towards that blue car bubble. But in the end, I was going to say Contra was just doing a good job being patient, letting anyone try to push in there. If he had a one-on-one, he could easily win that fight by getting the first shot. Or if two players charged in from that car side of the base, he could have just dropped onto the base and then disappeared with the new radar.
Looks like Ryannoob's going to elect to sprint away with the camo instead of just going for the crouch walk or just a simple walk, and it ends up paying out for him. 2 kills going on over to his team as well. It's going to be a trade, and now you can see Ryannoob's main focus is towards the pink side. Even though he's not walking over there, he's at least trying to get information and try to land any shots for a teammate who's trying to push up over here. So his main job right now is just getting information and trying to call that out for his teammates, because his teammates are in really prime position, and Ryan's just filling a void that is not currently being filled by his teammates.
Yeah, basically when you got camo, you just got to be a tattletale. You just got to tell where anyone else is, how weak they are, what weapons and toys they have. And Ryannoub just doing a celebratory dance.
Eyeballs.
Yep.
Now he's going top center over here with a 17-kill lead, and this is pretty comfortable. I mean, he's just sitting there at top center, ready to lay down any fire for anyone coming in there. And finally, you're going to see a couple slays going on over here for the Randa team. Are they going to be able to push up?
So one thing to keep in mind is, even though we saw TBD lose that last game by 18 points, they still kept up in slays. So it's just going to show that, I don't know, I feel like if you ever have Ryannoub on a roster that's going even or positive in slays, he's going to do the objective work. He's going to get that done for the most part. So we're going to have to see what kind of slaying power they have in this roster, because it looks like they're absolutely crushing right now, you know, up by 16 kills here on Truth's Team Slayer. And we're going to see if that carries into this next game, because I can't foresee Team Randa coming back in this one. I mean, it's starting to get to that too big of a deficit, especially something like Truth Team Slayer. Like, you can start to get those spawn kills and do cycles, but it's nowhere near the same as something like Regret, where you can forcefully punish a team over and over again the same bases.
Yeah, and this is reminding me a little bit of the first series, Dave. What happened in game number 2? It was Splice coming out after Randa won the first game. Team Randa won the first game, and they just put it on them in Slayer Plaza. And now this is happening again here in CS Truth. It's almost the same exact score.
50-31 was the last score.
50-31.
Let's make it happen again.
Uh-oh, history possibly repeating itself. Commonly trying to do whatever he can, and it does happen. So that's exactly the same exact score in game number 2. That is very scary for these guys. That, to me, shows a lack of energy after winning the first game. It could be just something else like strategy or just the way that the game flowed and things like that, but it's the same exact score after you win the first game. And it's a dominating score, almost a steak dinner.
Yeah. One stat that is very surprising, though, from that Randa squad is they had 30 of their 31 kills assisted. So that's pretty impressive. It goes to show that they weren't just getting, like, even a lot of times you get staked, you assume a lot of the kills are just like, all right, there's getting some cleanup kills or just like winning a few one-on-ones. But it seems like like, sadly enough, you hate to say, like, did they have a lot of good teamwork there, even though they got staked?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have really good opportunities to because they just weren't doing the right things. They're not.
That's true. They got some of the kills off the bat.
We saw in the previous series too. They're just not valuing Pink Tower enough. You have to value Pink Tower enough. Someone has to be that guy that is just constantly P3. I mean, we go back to the midship days, for example. There was Ogre 1. He would never leave Pink 3. The guy was up there, maybe because he had hosts, but and then there was Gandhi and Shockwave. They were constantly P3. There's Killer N, for example. He would always go P3 as well.
There has to be, you can't just have one person take on that Pink 3 person either. It's just like that person is a force to be reckoned with. You need
whoever
so
is the guy that is usually, say, in Eden most comfortable being like blue platform sniping should be the guy that is holding down Pink Tower. The guy that is the main slayer for the team that is really good at staying alive and determining when to challenging and not to challenge.
Well, this game number 3 looks like it's going to be Coliseum CTF. The major changes on this one, like besides the cross-board one, where we don't have splinter grenades and automatics and such, is it's spanker rockets now instead of the old ones, or instead of the newer Halo 5 ones.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big change in terms of the differential of damage, but either way, the strategy and the way that this game type is played, very, very similar here. Getting the sniper into the cave is usually the best thing that you can do. Ryan completely aware of that, and he is staying alive somehow as Nemesis is pushed in and got numerous kills, and they forgot about Ryan over here towards that maze area. This is the last guy alive. He's in front of the base. Can they find him? It's Baby J trying to escape over towards the grass. Ryan, if he can stay alive, this will be big because he does have the sniper rifle. You can see he's getting pegged from the side over here. And that
was
is
a
what's
crazy
so great.
chase.
But this is why I love the radar change. Yeah. That is not a play that you could have made before. And that is a play that we wouldn't have saw either way. So I love the fact that you can have and be free around the map and do whatever you want with these new changes.
Now, while Ryan was chasing that down and doing a great job distracting, it seemed like the rest of his squad was picked off during that time. That is rough to see because I felt like watching that just from Ryan's POV, you thought that his squad was running that flag already across the map, but it seems like they all got cleaned up.
Ryan's like, all right, well, guys, I'll run the flag then. If no one else is, I'm going to spawn, sprint right towards your flag, and then run it, and he dies right there. But he really frees you up, for someone that has teamed with him in the past in Halo Reach, I gotta say, probably one of the best teammates I ever had in terms of the way that my play style fits his play style.
Yeah, it's nice to have that person who breaks the ice. They just kind of break through that front line, and it creates a little bit of chaos that you get used to. It's like, all right, now I can safely shoot some people across the map or get the first shot on somebody as I break through this 50-yard line.
That's for sure. So let's see if Baby J can do anything to fight out of this grass area. Again, that's one of those areas where you feel like you're forced to challenge because you're just in such a vulnerable situation over here, as Prototype does have the sniper rifle and now trying to make his way over towards top pyramid. You can see there is another player on the side over here. It's going to be Ryan. Big fight coming up. He does get double teamed by Contra. Let's go ahead and find where Contra... Ooh, never mind. Commonly has the rockets. Let's see what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's playing a little defensive with these. Now, one thing that can be semi-scary playing defensive with rockets is if you die with the rockets here, now the opponents have rockets on your flag. One of the best spots to possibly have that. Whereas you can actually play defensive with sniper, and you aren't punished nearly as bad because if the opponent does have sniper near your flag, for example, they still have to take it towards cave. They still have to set up. They still have to get to a safer position to actually use that weapon.
Ooh, I thought he was going to shoot that rocket, kill himself, the player, and his teammate, but he ends up just holding on to that one. And I think a player from the red side will be able to pick that up. You haven't seen much, window utilization, excuse me. A lot of these players pushing out towards the snipe side and towards the rocket side. No one necessarily flying up towards top catwalk and thrusting over towards there and trying to get immediately towards the base. A lot more side angles being taken in this game, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like Nemesis aware of the spawn system, trying to look where Prototype's going to spawn, but he spawned just behind him over in that rocket corner. While that is going on, Contra tossing that flag towards bottom grass, almost surely going to get picked off by Baby J. That flag is dead in its tracks. Nemesis going to see if he can pick off any kill from a player trying to return that flag, but that's not the case.
I like that play
they went
Contra,
from,
though.
Yeah, that's fine to try to fade it.
It's like he was, I mean, he did kind of give up map control now, and things have, but that's not his fault. He really created an opportunity for his team. I feel like Contra was like that guy at the poker table. There hasn't been any action for a really long time, so he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to make a bet. Let's just go and throw like 20 out there.
And that got called really quickly as we saw that flag
get
get stopped.
Real quick.
And that's one of the worst things that can happen in poker is when someone goes snap calls like that.
Yeah. It's all right. Contra comes in with the return, though, so all is good over here in TBD world. Multiple kills coming out. Nemesis has had himself quite a game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kills really quick. And there is some action, so I'm going to pull that screen back over here. But he's definitely strung together some multiple kills over here. And another nice play here from Contra.
I really like this play from Contra. His teammates were rolling that flag towards bottom rockets, and instead of stacking 3 people in the exact same location over in rocket corner, he runs bridge, and he can decide where he needs to help them there. If there are people on rocket side, he has another angle of attack. If they weren't, he's now cutting off spawns over on snipe side. So he can be a help any single location on the map with that route he took, and that's why it resulted in the first flag cap for TBD.
That's weird. That guy was weak there. Commonly could have got the kill. Contra was only 1 or 2 shots away from death, and he ends up backing off. That's one of those instances where...
Zeke is a waiter, man.
Yeah, he is.
Pete Tizype. All right, for those watching at home, if Pete Tizype ever gets you 1 shot, he's just going to stand right there. He's just going to stand
still. Yeah. But either way, Baby J has the rockets here and is going to be able to push in. It's not going to really result in much unless someone else comes in and runs the flag. He cannot be the guy to go and do that. He does find the double kill here. Can he find the triple? That's going to be it. There's the overkill if he wants it. He finds it. He needs to go for the kill tack. It's going to be on elbow, man. What are you doing?
It was
he shoots
right
the
there
grenade. It hits
too.
him. Go for the kill tack, please. He's going to be able to help secure this flag out towards the grass area. Isn't going to get any further, though. He's going to drop the Nemesis.
Is this flag still not going?
No, it's going to get returned
gosh.
even after the overkill.
That is that does not bode well for Team Randa. Just seeing that alone makes me think that not only are TBD going to win this 1 game, I see them taking this series. Anytime
just off that alone?
Just off that alone. I mean, you see someone get an overkill, and you have somebody already immediately pulling the flag, you should know those cutoff routes. Like, that flag carrier needs to know that they should be running towards Fountain if they have cover there. That they need to know if, like, you even saw from Baby J's POV
well,
alone.
they got split
He had no
spawns
idea where he
first.
was.
We could talk about that.
All right,
that was
that's
unexpected.
fair.
But I don't know if the influence of the grenade was enough to do it or if someone ended up choking the spawn by pushing over towards the elbow. I don't like to go and point fingers at the game and say, hey, they got split spawns. That was kind of lucky. Even though that does happen sometimes and it's maybe not necessarily the game's fault. A lot of that time is the influence that you are giving on that spawn. Throwing a grenade, looking in that area and zooming in, shooting some shots, the vicinity, how close you are in terms of...
Yep, your cones of influence. There's a lot of different factors that go into play there. But I guess it's just really tough seeing, like, this is a very important match for this squad. And to see them in a situation where I feel like if you played that situation out 100 times,
that better too, though.
They should have had 90, they should have that 90 to 99% of the time capping that flag.
Yeah, but the thing is like, that wasn't like some ridiculous, miraculous overkill. It was just 4 rockets right in front of you. It's definitely
Plus, more
really
like
good.
the objective execution is what I was concerned about.
Right. But I think that it's not the flag runner's fault. It's the people that were watching his back. Primarily the guy that just got the overkill. He could have continued to watch that one side or say like, hey, I'm watching this side, watch for the split spawn. So
yeah, that's
a lot of it is it's miscommunication, but it's also the miscommunication happened because you guys weren't talking, also the way that you guys were moving around the map. So.
Who even knows what the comms were like on there? He could have been like, overkill, yeah, or, you know, sometimes people just get hyped about that and not even worrying about the next step.
Right.
But I agree with what you're saying.
He's like, overkill, these kids suck!
As they all far drop and don't get the black cap.
It's like, wait, who sucks? We didn't get the cap. I guess I suck. Oh, well. But it was a cool clip.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to highlight, though, that you brought up before is calling out where you're looking. You can start to determine where the opponents are going to be by deduction. Some people just assume, like, oh, I don't see where someone's at, so I need to go look somewhere else. Like, no, in some cases, watching elbow and you don't see anybody yet is totally fine. You can basically say, elbow's still clear, elbow's still clear. Basically letting your teammates know that they have to be flanking under, down low, they have to be flanking under the base, they could be getting the split spawns like you said before. Knowing where somebody isn't is just as important.
It is commonly getting the rockets and trying to get this return. Is he going to be able to do it? I think he just got a kill onto Rynoob as well, so this flag is still there. The return coming in, it wasn't commonly he's going to do it. He's going to do the right thing and slay. For some reason, that rocket did not do. Yeah, I don't know. That rocket did not do enough damage. He's going to have to push down here underneath the base, though, and help secure the kill onto Contra, who should have died. That's a back smack if he wants it. More melees, too, if he wants it, too. I love to see people utilizing that jump. Finally, it was Rynoob who did the thrust over towards top catwalk, guys. That jump is so much easier than it actually looks. I highly recommend that you find the spot to do it.
So tell us a bit more about that jump and why is it so strong?
So the jump that he did was he thrusted from the silver in front of the base towards top catwalk.
Okay,
so pretty much you can go from the worst place on the map to the best place on the map in a matter of seconds. And also, you can do it. It's like doing the bottom yellow jump on Guardian to top yellow.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have to be able to do that jump, and you have to know how to do it consistently. It's one of those that also you can do it every single time. It's a game changer, but you can do it every single time if you know what you're doing.
Fair. Yeah, because it makes sense. A lot of times people, once someone does get down to silver, especially when you do see that on radar too, like you see someone doing that thrust to get up there, that's like, oh, it's down to silver. I can jump around this corner and get that finish, and that person can escape. So that is a great jump, and leave it to Ryan Noob to master those sort of jumps. He's always been kind of ahead of the game when it comes to knowing those small little routes, those small little differences he can make to make his routes faster.
Baby J going out with the sniper rifle, trying to secure as much time as he can for his teammates to get the flag over, but he should have just backed off a little bit and just waited for those players to spawn. And that's just, again, split spawns really coming back to bite Team Randa in the butt here, because that's 2 caps that they could have had, Dave. It could be 2-1 their lead right now. And we're on the verge of, again, almost an identical repeat of the previous series where they win the first game, they lose game 2 50-31, and let a CTF game slip away that they should have won.
Yeah, and just once again, it's just a few mistakes. You know, that Baby J one, maybe I over-exaggerated a little bit with how, you know, maybe how tough it was, but at the same time, you see an overkill, especially a time when you're right next to that flag, you expect that to be a flag capture. You can't ask for much better situations than that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, you know, we were talking about right when he had the rockets is this is great, but, you know, you need someone to run the flag. You cannot be the rocket guy running the flag. It just doesn't work out unless your teammates are in the right position. But here's a possible and potential counter cap here for Team Randa as Baby J throws some nice grenades, landing some nice shots on this player over towards the street as well. Seems like he knew that that player was going to double back, taking down Nemesis pretty cleanly here. And Baby J is just doing work with the pistol. Look at this guy go. He even pulls the flag. Is he going to run it the right way, though? Which way is he going to go?
This is the correct way in this case. I saw one of his teammates over near cave.
Just toss it and slay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to go in for the long toss over to Prototype. Is that going to pay off? It's a thrust away. There it is. Baby J with the plays.
All right, now we're going to see if our stat holds true. They tied it with 1 cap within the last minute, so
they win.
Based on history, yeah.
They
100% of the time, based on our stats, it's always the team that wins.
You heard it here first, guys. 100% of the time, the stat does not lie.
We've taken a statistically significant amount of stats, too. Yeah.
We have
1 sample size.
There's tons of sample size here to be able to make this. It's scientifically proven fact. 1,000% for sure, for sure. Prototype over here trying to find Contra, who has been hiding over here for quite some time now, trying to infiltrate the base of Team Randa, but Prototype not having any of that. And now they're starting to push out with DMRs. This could be pretty scary, but Prototype doesn't realize someone's crouching right below him.
Yes, I love these sort of plays now with the radar. Prototype just realizing now there's someone at Fountain. He kind of had that inkling before. He just had you know, he must have either saw a glimpse of some player or just felt like, all right, we have to have somebody flanking through here, through the maze. You sometimes have that spidey sense when you're playing Halo. Like, things are too good to be true right now. There's no way I'm this safe.
Ryan Newby's on the verge of possibly putting this one in. There it is, 2-1. Keep in mind that this game is in overtime, so it continues to get played out. It is not next capture wins.
And keep in mind, 100% of the time that some teams brought it in overtime, they've also won. So,
yeah,
I mean, this is far from over.
Far from over. I wouldn't even think anything of that cap, actually. No, I'm just kidding. That was a nice cap coming out from Ryan. You saw he ground pounded that one down towards where the scatter shot used to spawn. He had multiple teammates in that area as well. However, Prototype not able to get the slays. It's now a 4-on-2 situation here while they're trying to run the flag. I think that's going to result in a counter cap.
And I mean, we're seeing the impossible happen right now, Tom.
Here we are. This is physically impossible. That's why Commonly is continuing to make our dreams come true over here with the nice plays. But Nemesis shuts that down. He gets the return as well. And I got to say, anytime these guys wanted a big play, I look at the kill feed at the bottom left, and you just see Nemesis' name popping up, numerous double kills. I'm curious to see how many he had.
Yeah, Nemesis doing a really good job for TBD, but Baby J just being a monster for the squad. I want to see what his slays were as well. 30 and 28, so only going positive 2.
A lot of assists for Commonly. Look at that. 10 more than pretty much anyone on his team, 11 more than anyone on his team. 31 and 24, nice job by Destroyed. 29 and 23 coming out from these guys as well. When you look at the power weapon kills, heavily in the favor of Team Randa. Just didn't really pan out for these guys. And I want to see how many double kills. 4 double kills coming out from Nemesis. Dave, pick someone else.
Yeah,
Let's pick Contra. Let's see here. He only got 1.
That's only 1.
That's the handful of double kills. It is. That's a lot of double kills. He had 8 kills that resulted as double kills. Contra only had 18 kills. Commonly had 19.
One thing that always catches me off guard too when checking out stat screens is how few perfect kills we actually see, because it feels like we catch them all in most cases.
I know.
Like when I'm watching like these pros play and stream and play matchmaking, like I'll see sometimes give them back-to-back perfect kills.
Yep.
Whereas
We
it
saw that
goes
with
to show
Booba today, where he had a perfect 10 shot.
Yep,
was nice.
that was sick. But it just happens so infrequently because these players are so good that you're never usually going to like hit all 5 perfect shots, or you usually try and get that first shot off, and you're not worried about just hitting him perfectly. You just need to take the player down.
What's really interesting to look at is how this series is panning out right now. And it makes me wonder how a team like TBD would play against like Splice, for example, where it's like, wow, you watched that previous series and it was 4-2, and it seemed like Team Randa could have beat Splice, but then you never know if these guys on TBD end up winning this series. It could be a 4-0 for Splice, or it could be 4-2 or a really close series. So interesting just to see how the matchups really pan out and play styles really pan out. Maybe they match up better against Splice on the Team Randa side than they do against a team like TBD.
There's definitely the matchups to keep in consideration, but we also casted plenty of these cups in the months past. And during those, we'd see different teams win from day to day. It seemed to be who was playing better that day. And so when we did see TBD get knocked down in the loser's bracket, could that have been yesterday? Maybe they weren't as hot. Maybe they were going against a hot squad. Not sure.
We'll see if they can bring it back here for Team Randa. Starting with Strongholds on Eden now. That was going to be a reset. I thought that was going to be a reset, but no, it doesn't come through. And Red Nest being captured. Looks like Blue Ben being captured as well. This is looking like a solid play from Nemesis. Doesn't pay off for him, though. I believe that he probably heard him in his headphones there.
Baby J did go down, though. So, I mean, trading with the guy who has rockets, that's about the best you can hope for in most cases in a close range situation. I know you were always pretty good at that back in the day. Like, that was tough. Like, you'd know how to hit the wall or hit the floor next to somebody next to you and actually take them out and stay alive with rockets. But I was always one of the people like, well, this is how we're both going down. This is how it's going to be.
Yep.
It's nice knowing you.
Charge right at him. That's always the best, man. And one of the things that you have to do when you have the rocket switch, it's a pretty obvious play. You'll see a lot of players do it. Besides just going for the splash damage, is always making sure that you have the best height advantages possible. Whether that is being in the map and positioning yourself in that specific way, or whether that's just taking a really nice jump and just trying to distance yourself as much as possible. It's always really important to do whatever you can to try to get as much of the height advantage as you can when you have the rockets.
Yes, and this game has been absolute chaos. For one moment there, though, we did see 3 members of TBD going down. So I don't know if we'll end up seeing a trip cap here or anything along those lines, but we are going to see control in the hands of Team Randa for a little bit. Ryan getting a nice flank over at Catwalk. Put some shots in over at Blue, too, but eventually taken down. I believe that was near Red Nest. So we're going to see how these strongholds kind of play out here in a moment, but I think that said Rockets coming up, but that should be, yeah, Rockets should be coming up at the 10-minute mark. Never mind.
Yep, a lot of action happens right at that 10-minute mark. You have tons of power-ups and power weapons on this map to try to regain control or keep control as long as possible. That's why it's so imperative to have that beginning strategy, that you get that timing down so you can continue to carry that on. And you see there, I think it was Baby J who picked up the first overshield, and then I believe Prototype picked up that second one there. So Team Randa definitely having the times there, and that's something that TBD is going to have to get if they want to try to regain control in the next 2 minutes.
Now, one thing that when we used to have rockets on Team Slayer, it was pretty evident you'd like to get those inside, get those over security if you possibly could. On Strongholds here, what do you prefer to do? Do you try to rotate that over security like a strong position? Or since it's Strongholds, can you just sit there and guard the Strongholds?
It really depends on what you want to do. Having rockets inside security is never a bad thing, and controlling Catwalk is definitely a priority. But look at the situation here where they have Red Nest and they have Blue Ben. So this is the right play from Commonly, is hold on over towards Blue Plat, and if you want to try to take over security side, the best way to do that is going over towards that alley area. If you go over towards that top Catwalk, it's way too vulnerable. People are always watching those spawns. So right now you're going to have to be Commonly and think, hey, where are these guys going to come from? Where are they going to go? What is their focus? Is that going to be Red Nest? And he's playing it pretty much perfectly. He's saying, all right, well, no one's really coming towards me, so I'm going to start pushing towards them. I have more than enough information in terms of the callouts. We have map control. this is, you know, exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah, I like this play. I mean, it's always kind of a risk versus rewards assessment there too, because I feel like it's pretty safe. Like if you want to live with the Rockets and guarantee you get your kills, you can just camp an area. You can camp over here near one of the ledges where Contra's currently standing and pretty much ensure you're getting those kills. However, if you want to do what's best for your team in the long run, I agree, gaining that security control, getting control of Catwalk, which I think is the strongest stronghold here on Eden.
Let's see what happens with this next set of Rockets as Baby J goes in for the reset. Big reset onto Red Nest. They weren't able to capture Blue Bend. Overshield going to be on the map as well. That's the Rocket guy. He cannot get the kill. That's huge for Nemesis. Nemesis has to waste 2 Rockets, but in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter as Rynoob now rotates over towards the Catwalk. And that's one of the things about the Catwalk is you get the camouflage, but you also are able to secure the height advantage and see what's going on outside. And a lot of the times you'll see people up there and they're timid. They're scared to jump around and do what Ryan's doing. But that just comes with the confidence and just through playing it and being in those scenarios.
Yeah, that's the thing about Catwalk is I feel like if your team is on the defensive and you don't have either of the 2 strongholds, yeah, it can be risky. You'll end up getting shot up if you're jumping from bridge to bridge. However, if your team has presence on the map, you really aren't going to be spotted out that too much. Like, you can easily rotate from Catwalk over to almost any position on the map safely compared to the reverse of that.
And you have so many different options there if you're Ryan and your camo, and there's 3 players in security. And I really like the way that he did that because all he's really doing is buying time. He's just buying time for this triple cap to continually rack up points. He's buying time for his teammates to come up and continually clean up his kills. And that's exactly what you want to do. You just want to distract. Like you said, Dave, you're pretty much a mole when you're camo.
Yeah. At the end of the day, some people try to look at camo and be like, oh, I need to get a bunch of kills, I need to get back smacks, I need to do all this damage. In fact, as long as you're distracting, as long as you're doing some sort of work, like you can't just be sitting around doing nothing. If you're sitting around doing nothing with camo, you are doing it incorrectly. But as long as you are distracting, making them try to find you, try to shoot you, you are doing absolutely everything correct with camo. Camo is an opportunistic power-up. You need to buy opportunity time for your teammates, let people know where enemies are at. In certain cases, they're in a standoff. Sure, you can be that maybe opening kill, but those are few and far between. Most times when you see someone trying to get that opening kill with camo, they just trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's you couldn't put it any better, really, because you have to get something out of it. That's the whole key, is you want to use the camo to, you know, go for the rocket guy or kill the overshield guy or secure a stronghold or, you know, find a stronghold of your own that you didn't have before. So that's pretty much perfect play coming out from Ryan, and now they're going up in this series 3-1.
And that is a convincing victory once again, though, too. 151. I think it's weird where I draw my lines of, like, convincing victories. I would say, like, in Slayer, it's got to be around, like, 10 to 12 kills. Strongholds, anything more than, like, 30 points, I would say, is a convincing victory. Anything less than that, I feel like it's a pretty, you know, game could go either way based on one sort of setup. CTF, winning by more than 1 cap, that's a convincing victory.
And look at Nemesis. Nemesis going off again, 18-11. This guy is putting up some really big numbers. Meanwhile, you have Ryan just going for the objective, 8-6. Curious to see how many strongholds captured and secured.
Go back to damage there for a second again, because one thing we saw in Nemesis, Nemesis had about 250 more damage.
4 power weapon kills as well, so he was picking up the rockets, doing some work with those, which is really interesting because we go back, David, this is 100 to 50. And you're playing from the red side. They have, in my opinion, a huge upper hand in Eden Strongholds to start the game. They picked up the first overshield, which even gave them the second overshield. And even after having 2 overshields, it's still not enough. You called it. I mean, right after that Coliseum play, it was 1-1 when that happened, I believe. Or maybe it was 1-0. But the series was anyone's series. That play happened with the overkill. You said they're losing this series. And it's been pretty downhill ever since.
Yeah, it's been really rough. I mean, I think we've all been in that situation, too, when you're playing with a team and something doesn't go the way it should. Sometime, like we talked about, that's the perfect example. An overkill and you don't get the flag capture, you just start to build doubt within your squad. It's like, all right, well,
the rage meter. The rage meter continually and slowly. I think what game? It's like a fighting game, you know. Like, and then all of a sudden you unleash the combo and you get 4-1 eventually. But
the combo usually is a team nade, but
yeah, something along the lines. Well, this is good for them though. 3-1 here. They don't have the sniper rifle. They don't have control, but at least they have some sort of lead. And that's what they need. They need to get off to a good start, very similar to how they did in the Eden Strongholds, and they need to continue up that momentum. They need to get control and maintain it.
Baby J being pretty sneaky, going all the way towards Engine 1, has that scatter shot. So here's one of those times where teams aren't going to get killed or like back smacked by someone coming from like Engine 1 or getting that flank, but they're going to get caught more off guard. Like they're going to have to be more aware of somebody coming down from that angle.
Interesting strategy by Prototype, trying to challenge the guy on the bat ledge without checking the side. You got to check that side before you go up there and just expect to get that kill for free. Randa does have the sniper rifle, so this is looking good for Team Randa. Let's see what he elects to do with it, as Prototype does pick up a kill. It's a pretty easy shot onto Contra. He hits the hardest out of the three, taking him down to no shield, but doesn't get the kill.
Yeah, that's one of the funny parts is like the easiest shot sometimes, like, yeah, you always, it's almost like Murphy's Law sometimes with Sniper. Like there's certain times like, all right, if you don't shoot it immediately, they turn around, start to unzoom you. If you shoot it immediately, you're going to miss, and then, yeah, it's just a really tough situation. But Randa just making sure that TBD does not get any sniper ammo if he ever does die with us.
I know that this isn't going as planned for Randa, but these are the type of shots and angles that you need to be hitting if you're trying to win this thing here. I mean, those are very, you know, not easy shots, but very makeable shots there, very hittable shots.
It also felt kind of twitchy there for a little bit. So, like, one thing that I feel, if you are going in that top tower and you're prepared to snipe at barrels, be prepared to snipe there.
Yeah.
Don't just, like, peek out there as if, like, all right, there might be somebody there, like, as if you have a pistol or a battle rifle.
Sniping's all about confidence. It really is. I mean, if you are unconfident in your sniper shot, you are just way too much in your head, you are not going to hit your shots. I mean, Halo 1 taught me that more than anything because it was just so tough to snipe in that game. Halo 5, much easier, in my opinion, than others to hit. And that's why it's so surprising to see him miss those scoped-in shots and then hit that no-scope there. It's more or less about your positioning, and someone that does this so well is Snipe Down. Snipe Down just sits there, and he just waits, and is so patient. He's not worried about getting shot in the back or anything like that. He just knows where people are, and he's just confident that he's going to hit that head.
Time is on your side. Now, we talked about how effective Ryan Noob's camo was. This one is so far a fairly ineffective camo. We saw for the first, 20 or 30 seconds with the camo, Nemesis really was not a factor. Like, he was more so trying to secure his half of the map, which sounds all right, but in short, when you have camo, you need to be an aggressor. You need to, like, take up more real estate than you already have. You shouldn't be clearing out people for the most part out of your bases and stuff. You need to be killing the people that are going to go reinforce that flanker on the opposing team. You need to be moving out, pushing out. So we saw Nemesis right there. Like, I think he got one kill and didn't die, but I would have taken Ryan Noob's time where he stayed alive all 45 seconds, shot 3 or 4 different people, distracted, had them looking for him that whole time over that Nemesis camo.
Yeah, it seems like he was more on the hunt and seemed like he had a power weapon in his hand. Like, you know, that's the type of aggression that you want to have when you have the camo and when you have the power weapons. But instead, not really seeking information and seeking kills instead. But it's okay because, you know, everyone's play style has to be different, and not all 4 players can be doing the same thing, because then that becomes a little bit too predictable. So the fact that Ryan, you know, has the sniper right now is also really great for these guys on TBD because they have a pretty comfortable lead, 22-13. They're slowing it down. Camo's coming up. This is the perfect position to be in for them.
That's fair. Maybe I didn't even consider that about sniper coming up or clearing out that flanker, because maybe if they clear out the flanker a little bit faster, we've seen Nemesis go on the offensive a little bit quicker. Like, it's always one of those things like, you know, if the play works out, us commentators are going to be like, oh, yeah, that was such a brilliant play, and, you know, he did that perfectly. But, yeah, maybe I caught Nemesis off at a bad time there when he had that camo.
23-16 here, and the push is coming in from Baby J now. Where is the aggression coming in from the rest of the guys, though? As Contra's going to get a kill on a Prototype. Can they clean up? That is Baby J finding the kill and getting the trade, but is he going to have to be able to push in by himself? That is the question. You could see he just doesn't want to have to go over there quite yet, but he has to. His team needs to get control of the map. They're down right now, and now the support's coming in. Grenades flying in thick and fast, as Sims would say, from behind, but it doesn't seem like Baby J is going to be able to infiltrate the setup.
Well, Baby J did his part right there. Ryan Noob doing a little dance, but Baby J did his part, getting those couple kills, being an instigator, taking up some ground. But I have to question, like, as soon as Baby J has control of that Whitehall, as soon as he has engine there, I would expect his team to just start flooding in over at Whitehall or something along those lines if they want to get control of that side. Otherwise, if they're trying to sit back on their own half, I would almost fault Baby J for pushing up that far. He shouldn't be a lone man trying to take on that many people on the opposing side of the map. Even though it worked out that one time, you need to work as a team. You need to be like, all right, are we sitting back and guarding our sniper? Or are we going to all make a push together, get those kills, and get those spawn slays?
Yeah, I really like the way that it started to work out for him, and I feel like that was the point in time in the game, especially based on how the last couple games off, just to be like, you know what, let's make an aggressive play, and let's do it now. Because if we continue to play like we're playing, and if we continue to let these guys be confident and sit in their setups and just pick us apart, then we're going to lose. So I think that it was kind of a desperation play, and that's why you saw him kind of flying in there. But at the same time, I don't necessarily blame him for making that play.
That's fair. Sometimes you need to switch it up. I remember vividly, this was St. Louis 2005. We were playing against Carbon. This is game number 11 of the series. It was Battle Creek Team Slayer, and we were down a significant amount, like 15 or 16 kills. And I think it was something like 42 to 28, I want to say. And at one point, we were all hiding behind the base, and I just said, guys, we're going to lose. Like, we're not going to lose like
so everyone
like
portaled.
passive players.
Everyone portaled?
We just got super aggressive, so we portaled, we started pushing across the map. Like, there was even a time, like, I jumped right into a base to kill, like, Sergio. I just remember, like, us being like, all right, we're not going to play passive anymore.
Good, because I'm pretty sure they dropped me before that event, after we got second. And then that's when I went on to straight ribbon, was that event.
This was, I'm 05 event I'm talking about.
05 St. Louis?
St. Louis, yeah. So, what is that? That was the one?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember I ran into the And One mixtape guys at Wendy's. White chocolate. By the way, 31 to 41 over here.
Escalade and stuff like that.
Yeah, those guys. But yeah, was that the famous comeback on
that
Beaver,
was one
Beaver
of the most
Slayer?
proud Team Slayer. Yeah, like that was, I feel like our
I remember that tournament.
most proud
Carmen
moment,
won
like
the
coming back in a
free-for-all.
match.
I think I got second at that free-for-all. Which tournament? Was that the third
That
tournament?
That was, yeah, I don't remember which tournament in the series it was.
There was Houston, and then there was St. Louis, right?
Sounds about right. I mean,
We'll have to go back.
It's kind of crazy because if you think back to 2005,
12
like
years
we had
ago.
like 11 or 13 MLGs were that year.
Yeah, there
There was
was.
13 MLGs, more than one per month.
Yeah, there was. And I couldn't finish school.
We
Little
are
comeback coming in here from Team Randa.
Yeah, I was going to say, only a 5-kill game at the moment. And like you said, maybe partially due to Baby J and Team Randa just being aggressive, like switching things up a bit. You have to, you know, if something's not working, you need to switch it up. That's not to say, like, at the very beginning of the game, you're going to be able to tell right away. Like, if you get down by a couple kills, you don't really need to switch things up. Like, that could be a couple engagements that did not go your way, or the opposing team got the power-up or power weapon at the start of the game. However, if you're halfway through the game or 7 minutes through the game, you're losing by 5 or 10 kills, and you're doing the exact same things over and over. You had chances with the power weapons, with the power-ups. You need to be like, all right, guys, this isn't working. What are we going to do different now?
Let's see if Destroyed can... Oh, you should cue the music. The Jaws music as Destroyed goes in over here, trying to search for the kills. I mean, this is pretty much it if they can secure probably 1 or 2 more slays, especially with half of this camouflage still. And I love this play from Destroyed.
I kind of don't like it. Like,
no,
I
he's
understand
choking
the blocking.
He's choking spawns. That's good because that's exactly what they need to do to make sure that they win the game. If one person does spawn, that's all he has to do to make sure. He's just securing the win. That's all it is. Because if a player spawns behind him, maybe he shoots him in the back, he loses his camo. That was just a very safe, conservative play to win the series, close it out. It looked bad because he had camo, but it was actually pretty smart in my opinion.
No, that's fair. I guess I look at it in a way where it's like, yeah, he's not using camo to its fullest extent. But in certain cases, if you have the camo, or if you're able to close out the game with or without that power up or power weapon, close it out however you know you can. And right there, like you said, he's just choking those spawns. He has trust in his team to collapse in over at the Carbine side. And that is a 50 to 42 victory for TBD. So we're going to be seeing the grand finals. TBD taking on Splice.
Yeah, I really liked situational plays coming out from these guys on TBD, and that's what Halo is really all about, is assessing the situation, understanding what you have to do, where you have to fill the map on, and, you know, sometimes sacrificing your life for the better good of the team, and that's the type of plays that we saw from TBD, and they really ran away with that series. It really worries me. I know that it's going to be week to week, and things are going to change, and the roster may even change, but I get really worried when I see these guys on the side of Team Randa play so well in game number 1 and just completely look like a completely different team the rest of the 4 games. It's scary.